I would say that both of this week's readings definitely challenged me to be uncomfortable at times. Something that I wrote down when reading The Problem of Common Sense is it's a quote from one of the chapters. The reason we fail to do more to challenge oppression is not merely that we do not know enough about oppression, but it is also that we often do not want to know more about oppression. And then I wrote down later, I think from something else in that chapter, learning is oftentimes an uncomfortable process. And so this one specifically from this reading just challenged me to get uncomfortable sometimes in the classroom, in conversation with the students, and the kind of things that we're talking about. Another quote that I wrote talked about integrating into the curriculum a richer diversity of experiences, perspectives, and materials, which definitely is something that I want to do in the classroom, even though sometimes maybe those things bring up kind of uncomfortable conversations. Those conversations are very important to have. And then I kind of tied that to a lot of ideas in starting with ourselves, just being uncomfortable in reflection, which I definitely did spend some time doing after reading this chapter. And a quote that I wrote from that reading was, educating ourselves, asking hard, uncomfortable questions that we might not like the answers to, can be the first step towards self-awareness and uncovering the biases that affect and infect our teaching. And so that idea was just kind of similar to me, that it's good to be uncomfortable sometimes, even though nobody wants to be uncomfortable. I certainly don't want to be uncomfortable. But both of these readings just kind of reminded me that it's absolutely necessary to be uncomfortable, whether that's like in our own personal reflection or sometimes in our classroom. And so for reflection, I definitely spent some time reflecting on my own biases after reading the Starting With Ourselves chapter, which is good because it's good to start reflecting on things like that now, even though it may be a little uncomfortable. It's just definitely good to be aware of those things. And so that was my challenge and reflection from this week.